this all the time, but about being consistent, being present, not just as a leader and not just necessarily even in your business, but just in everyday life. So I'll go over that. And then after that, Allie and I are both going to kind of go over objections. We were talking with our team about things that they want to see, maybe that they were experiencing or having struggles with. And the main thing that we found was overcoming objections. So, no, we've gone over that before, but it doesn't hurt to have a refresher. Maybe there's something that you're missing as well, and it might help you. So, Andrea and I did a Zoom call the other day, and I think she had dropped it in one of the chats. It was just different questions about your leadership, where you're at, where you've been, that kind of thing. And when I was filling it out, I was like, there's a theme here. And it all came back to consistency, and showing up. And I know that we all have different points in our life where maybe we aren't consistent for whatever reason. For me, I was super consistent with everything in November. I mean, for the last several months, I've been very consistent with getting in my back office each day, checking, perks, credit card declines, all of that stuff. But I wasn't necessarily being consistent with posting and being present. And I could tell that in December. November was opposite. I was doing all of those things. I was in my stories. I was posting. I was messaging consistently, doing all of that in December I wasn't doing. I was in my first trimester of pregnancy. I wasn't feeling great. I ended up getting the flu. It was a train wreck, and I slipped some. And yes, there's going to be times where you might not be able to get something done for whatever reason, but there's also times where you need to just push through and do those things. And if I would have planned better, or if I would have time blocked or done those things that I wasn't really doing, it would have made it so much easier. It literally takes like 2 seconds to make a post, but I just simply wasn't doing it because I didn't feel good. And I mean, and it showed. Like, I just wasn't excited, which made me feel like maybe that's why my team wasn't excited. I know that it was the holidays and things like that, and it can just seem kind of dead. But ultimately, it comes back to the speed of the leader. And I know sometimes people think, well, I'm not a leader. Like I'm just silver, or I'm just gold. Well, you're not just anything. You are silver and you are gold. If you have one person under you, then you're a leader, because they are going to look up to you and they're essentially going to do what you're doing. Like, even something that I was listening to on the training video the other day, and I know that we've talked about this a ton, was even about team calls. You guys show up every Wednesday and you're here for a reason, because you want to grow. And if you're not getting on team calls, then your team's probably not going to get on team calls either. And when we do talk to you guys and train, it is nice to see faces. So if you tend to get on calls, but you don't show your face, then your team's probably not going to show their face. Like, that's just how it goes. So if you aren't messaging people, if you aren't following up, you aren't doing those things, then more than likely they're not going to do those things either. So that's just like the trend, like I said, that I kept coming back to, that I'm like, why am I not doing this? Even the question was that had nothing really to do with like you guys, but just in general, like, do you feel like you have an influence over people? And I was like, yes, I feel like I do. But I was like, but when I'm being consistent, even when I'm posting, like, say, just healthy recipes or motivational quotes, anything like that doesn't have to do with plexus. Like, sometimes people need to see those things, and I feel like it can make an impact. But if you're not posting about them, or you're not talking about them, then people aren't going to see it. They're not going to see you as an influence if you're non-existent, essentially. And I feel like that's kind of where I was at. Like Andrew said, adding value. In December was not adding any value. I don't feel like I was adding much value, just day-to-day life or to my team. And it just kept coming back to me being consistent. Even if it was every other day posting, whatever it may be, I'm like, I wasn't doing that. Like, that's why I felt like I was in a rut and stuck. And I'm sure that so many of you, I mean, put whatever you felt in the comments if you want to, but how have you noticed how much of a difference it makes if you're consistent versus if you're not? Like me in November, I was super consistent and I just felt amazing. I felt good about it. I went in December like, okay, I did what I needed to do. I was posting consistently, messaging consistently, reaching out is like key. But then in December, I wasn't. So I went into January just kind of feeling blah, like, okay, something has got to change. And that's when I was like, I have to get better at scheduling my post. And it's simple and it's easy. And yes, sometimes it may change. I know there was a period where I did somewhat plan out my post and some things would come up during the week where I'm like, no, I need to talk about this like now. And that's fine. But if you have somewhat of a rough game plan, like on Wednesdays, it's going to be what Wellness Wednesdays. If on Fridays, you are going to post a recipe and, Tuesdays is going to be your testimony, whatever it may be, like just even having that rough idea, like truly makes such a difference. And something for me that is a thought that I was telling myself, and what I told Andrea the other day is, I've told Allie this as well. I was like, I'm just not good at time blocking. Like, I'm just not good at it. Like, that's just not for me. I'm a very go with the flow type of person. Like, I will get stuff done, but I cannot like plan out like hour by hour what I'm going to do that day. Even though every day is a little bit different, but like with Odie being in school and things like that. But for the most part, most days during the week are pretty similar. But like what Andrea said, she was like, Heather, I'm going to be honest with you. You're just not disciplined enough. And I'm like, I'm not like having a morning routine. Nope. Don't have a morning routine. Like I know like Andrea gets up, she has her 5-minute journal. Allie, she has her routine, like her workout, her devotional, things like that. And it's just something that I don't do. And like what I told Andrea, I'm like, my back's been hurting, just different stuff like that. I'm like, it will make me feel so good if I just get up in the morning, if I stretch and I read a devotional. So I got a devotional that just came in on Monday. So it was perfect timing to start a 21-day reset and been stretching and things like that. And it just sets such a different tone for your day. And ultimately, I think that it really helps with being consistent with everything else, because when you get up, when you have that time to yourself, whatever it may be, I know everyone is different and they have something different that they like to do, but it really does make such a big difference in your whole day and how you plan out what you're going to do and how you are going to lead someone on your team, or how you are going to be an inspiration, maybe on Facebook to someone that you know or you don't know, whatever it may be. Like people are always watching. We always say that with Plexus posts, like they're always watching, whether they're commenting, whether they're liking your posts, whether they're replying to your stories, like they are watching. And it's the same when you're posting things that aren't Plexus related. Like, yes, a lot of times we do get a lot more interaction on posts that don't have to do with Plexus, but there's always people that aren't even going to like or comment on those that are going to see them. So whatever it is that you are passionate about, like, don't stop posting about that. Don't feel like you are going to get annoying to people, because it's going to come back and it's going to attract people that are like you, essentially. Like if I do like to, eat healthy, eat in moderation, those kinds of things, like want positive people. So those are the things that I am going to post about outside of Plexus and outside of my kids. And being consistent with posting those are going to attract people that are like me. They're going to, be people that I want to do the business with, which is something that I'm trying to get better at, is posting more about the business. Of course, still going to post about the products, love the products, never going to stop there. But it's going to be hard for me to get business builders and bring people in that aren't just going to be product users. And a lot of times if those product users don't get people to do it with them, what do? They quit. So you want people that are going to see somewhat of the vision and at least want to grab a couple friends and for me, I'm like, if I'm not posting about that, if I'm not posting about the business, then I'm not going to attract those people. How are they going to know? Not giving an exact number of income, but just how are they going to know how much we truly can make, or the prizes that we earn, how great our company is, all those things that we are just for some reason maybe hesitant or scared to post about? How are they going to know about those things if we aren't posting about them? And it's not, yes, Andrea.
Wait, before I forget. So going right along with what Heather says, if you're not posting about the business, if you're not posting about the products, and you're here, there, and everywhere, and then when you reach out, that to me is salesy. Like when you're not posting at all, and you can scroll back a week, 2 weeks, and there's not a lick of Plexus or anything that has to do with what you love. Like, because we post about what we love, right? We love our kids, we love our dogs, we love to cook, we love to exercise, whatever it may be. We're always posting about it. But if you're posting about Plexus once every 2 weeks or whatever, and then you're going to reach out to me, I'm like, that's weird. I don't ever see it on her page. Like, that is so weird. What is she doing? Why is she messaging you? Because I feel like, and it's the opposite. I feel like what a lot of people feel is, if you love something, like, you better be in my inbox, right? Like, I expect you to be in my inbox. Like, I know there are people that I know on social media that really love their product. Like, there's a girl with Beauty Counter, and she is like diehard, believes in it. Like, and she's in my inbox, like, hey girl, like, she even sold me on something like a couple years ago. And I'm like, I didn't even know I needed it, but you love it. And like, you post all this great information about clean skincare and whatever. So it's like, don't let, like, you have to think, like, if you truly love and want to do this, you have to post about it, and you have to post about it in a way that's not just a copy and paste from Addie's post or Lisa's post or whatever. Like, truly make it yours, you guys. Like, get bold, get vulnerable, get genuine in your posts. And I will tell you, like, people will relate no matter what stage of life you're in, no matter if you love what you look like, if you don't love what you look like, if you're in a rut, if you're not in a rut. Share that, but put a positive spin on it, because when you wait until when you feel perfect, or you feel at a good weight, or you feel pretty, or you feel like you have to have a beautiful photo every single time, you are not relating to people who are like you, like the real you. That is buffering. And I did that for so long. I always used to think, I've got to have a pretty photo, I've got to look and feel good, like before. But after I had kids, like the 26-year-old me who started Plexus and the 33-year-old me with 3 kids, completely different people. And if I try to be the 26-year-old me with like the best bod that I had, like, I've ever had in my life, and like, that's not relatable to me now, right? Like, I've got stretch marks, whatever, I have like chocolate on my sweatshirt, like, I don't have any don't have makeup. Like, those are the people that I want in my circle, right? Like, that's the people. And I know that when I started posting more like that, but not like, well, I'm so tired and I don't have any makeup on today, not that, but like, hey, like, you can go look at my post from last night. Like, I had a mom reach out to me, and she's like, what, I want to do what you mamas are doing. And I'm like, yes, because I'm relating to her. She's like, okay, I don't have to be a certain way to do this. And like, she is me, right? I hope I'm making sense. But post where you are right now and be confident and relate to those people. Pull that other mom who desperately needs this opportunity into this circle with you, and show her what this opportunity can do and has done for you. So anyways, go on. I just had to say that.
Well, something that I just thought about that doesn't have anything to do with being consistent, but I'm just going to go off on this, is because I've seen this come up in some conversations, is because you were talking about being real. It's just being real, not on your main feed, like in conversations as well. Because I've seen a lot of conversations where I feel like people think that we need to know it all. Like, we need to know all the ingredients that are in this, why this much of whatever is in this product, and just all these different things. And what it comes back to is, like, we are real people. Like, we are not scientists. We are not doctors. Like, and it's okay to say, I'm not sure. Like, I will get back to you. Like, I'll look into it. Like, we want to be real because we want, again, comes back to attracting people that are like you. We want people that are going to be the same way. We don't want a know-it-all or someone who's going to make people feel bad or anything like that. We want them to know that you don't have to know it all. If there's something that you don't know, you'll figure it out. You'll get an answer. I've seen that. I've seen that quite a bit recently. And I'm like, we're just normal people. Like we don't know everything, but it's just how you approach it as far as that sounding confident with anything. If you are going over pricing with someone and you don't seem confident or you make it seem like, I know it's expensive, then those people probably aren't going to join you because they're going to be thinking in the back of their mind, like, this is expensive. Like, I don't think I can afford this. Whereas if you come off confident, like it's this much this month, next month it's going to be this month, whatever, then they're not going to think about it as much. So it's just how we kind of put off what we are trying to say that makes such a big difference too. Like I said, this has nothing to do with being consistent, but I know that when we are trying to get someone to join us, the confidence literally like makes such a big difference. But even for myself, like when it goes back to being consistent, is I feel like we're only a week and a half into the month, and I already feel so much better about this week and a half than what I felt all in December, because I have done what I'm supposed to do. Like I've made it a non-negotiable. Like we've talked about, like team calls, like they should be non-negotiable. That way you grow. You want to grow. You want to be here. And there's some things that should just be non-negotiable. And I'm like showing up for myself, for my team, for future, people who are going to join my team. Like that's what I have to do. I have to make posts consistently. I have to start showing my face in my stories. Like I have to send more reach out messages. Like I have to do those things. And no matter if I feel like crap or not, like, so I told Andrea earlier, I was like, I am so nauseous, but I ate crackers and I drank some water and I got on the call. Like that doesn't mean like you have to love it. Like Allie and I, like I said, we tried to just do a live video, which we had technical difficulties, but I don't like doing live videos. I don't really like getting in my stories necessarily even. Like I feel like people are like, oh, but you talk so well. You like to talk, but I do like to talk, but I don't like to do it in front of a crowd. Like that doesn't mean I love to do it. Like Andrea, I know there's times where she's like, she probably doesn't want to get on and do something either, but that's what helps us to grow. We always say that, like, you have to get uncomfortable to grow. And that's why we're always like saying, if you guys want to do anything, if you want to help lead a team call or step out of your comfort zone in any way, of course, we'd be all over it. If you want to help lead a 3-day challenge or anything like that, like those things go along with being consistent because you are showing up. You're showing up for yourself. You're showing up for those people that are under you. Like I said, whether you have 3 people or you have 100 people on your team, like you are a leader and they look up to you and they are watching to see what you are doing. And more than likely, those things that you are doing and putting into action, like they're going to do those same things. And I know this is something else that we've said a lot too, is more than likely, they're probably doing half the amount as you. So if you're not posting consistently, if you're literally only posting twice a week, how many times do you think they're posting? Once, maybe every other week, probably not very often. So they are going to be watching you, seeing what you're doing and all that good stuff. But I kind of want Allie and I to get a little bit into objections. So that's just kind of my spiel on being consistent. Allie, are you on here? I'm assuming yes. There you are. Yeah.
I'm here, guys. I'm going to make you guys role play. I know that no one likes to do that, but I think it's helpful. But I have a couple things that I caught from Bob Heilig. I don't know if you guys follow him. Oh my God. Your Virtual Upline podcast. If you don't, go at him right now. He's amazing. Super easy to listen to. Always tangible tips. Love his personality. And again, very practical things for network marketers to grow and be confident and be successful and get uncomfortable, all those good things. So I actually listened to something today after I was asked at the last minute to train, which I'm excited to be here. But I was like, oh gosh, yeah, I could totally, share some tips. But overcoming objections is something that I feel like no one feels confident at, but sometimes we just like okay, we'll just roll over the objection and like move on. But if we don't learn to get comfortable and push past the objection, then we're never going to grow through it, and we're always going to get that roadblock. And again, it's not that we don't get them. We get the same objections that you guys probably do if you feel like you're brand new and all you're getting is, I don't have time, I don't have enough money to get started, I want to wait to try the products before I get started, before I tell anyone. Like, those are things that we have to navigate through. So there's just a couple of tips I have as to, well, how do we get past that? Or what do we say next to, even if it's moving the needle forward, not getting turning a no into a yes right away, but, being bold and confident in helping them to see past it. So Bob actually was saying today that, it's human nature to have objections. Like, we're in a industry that people don't really picture themselves in. People don't go to school to be network marketers. People don't picture themselves like, I want to grow up and be, a network marketer, right? So they just think, no way, and no, I couldn't do it, or it's, stigma around it. So people are skeptical and they just might have extra questions or hesitations. And so actually what I learned from doing Momentum Movement, one of Brooke and Emily's trainings, was we don't call them objections, we call them hesitations, because an objection is like, no way, do not speak to me, I don't want what you have. Okay. Like, no curiosity whatsoever. A hesitation is usually some sort of concern. Sorry, it's interest, some level of interest, but it's also a slight concern. So they're just giving you this, well, maybe blah, 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 fill in the blank. And we'll go through a few that you guys maybe are thinking about right now. But we need to dig deeper about what their hesitations are. And just kind of try to uncover them. So you're probably thinking like, what the heck? How do I do that? So really, it's probably likely that they don't see themselves doing what you're doing, which is what you're asking them about, or they just aren't fully bought in. So we just need to remember to keep it simple. So it's, duplicatable, or doesn't seem so far out of their limit that they would never in a million years be able to do what Allie, what Lindsay, what Michelle, Morgan, whatever you are doing. And we always talk about using our third party validation, using the videos to help explain the knowledge. We are not experts. We do not need to know all the things, all the ropes. If you spent 2 weeks telling people all the things about Plexus, they're either going to run and jump ship, or they're going to be so overwhelmed that they're probably not going to join because they think that they could never tell people that same amount of information. So again, keep it simple, use third-party tools, and we're just simply vision casting. So breadcrumbing them, helping them see a little bit bigger or a little bit more open-minded about, again, the products that you're offering them to help with them. People just have some skepticism around supplements because they're not FDA regulated, or again, the opportunity that you are offering them because it can help a need that they have. So how do we dig deeper? We want to ask clarifying questions. So instead of, okay, no worries, we don't need to share, or no worries, I'll check with you in a month when maybe you have more money, right? We're going to just say, so tell me a little bit more about that. Like, it breaks it down to about $5 a day. So what are you maybe spending money on now? Or is there anything that we could cut out that you could have an extra $5 a day for? Kind of like helping them to think through, well, I am going to Starbucks 3 times a week, or I am getting lunch, at the office a couple times a week. That could be used for my money. So, well, I don't know if I want to get started because I heard that Plexus was blah, 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 blah. Again, tell me more about where you're doing your research. So we want to just kind of not just take no, or no, I don't want to do it because of XYZ. We want to ask, well, tell me a little bit more about what is holding you back, or where did you find that information? Maybe I could help clarify. Or you're going to go back and you're going to follow up with them a day or two, or, a little bit later and say, hey, I was really thinking about you. Something came to mind. It was a friend's testimony. May I share it with you? And that's when you're going to kind of use that Rooted in Health or Vision Empowered Testimony page and just search for something that relates to them, what they've shared with you. And it's going to build that belief. It's going to cast that vision. It's going to show that you care. And it is using that third-party tool that is going to help overcome that hesitation that they're giving you. Bob made it pretty clear. He just said, you want to evaluate the situation and the mindset of the person on the other end. So, you know, we don't know what situations they're going through if it's a money obstacle, but if we just say, you know, okay, or get them on, you know, one or two, like two products, or let them tell you they don't have the money, and just say, okay, well, when you have the money, let me know. Like, we obviously don't want to do that, but we want to just ask questions, get to know them. And a lot of it is the mindset of them not knowing enough, not being confident in what they can do. And again, us just showing them how simple it is to, you know, either do what we do or get started on a system. And then he also, his last tip was, we got to take the emotion out of it. When it comes to objections, again, they're always going to be there. We cannot take it personal. We might feel, you know, we don't want to get defensive and react. We want to respond to what they say. So don't react, respond, meaning they need to feel understood and heard. So an example of how you would respond instead of react in like a, well, it's not a pyramid scheme, or, oh, well, maybe you're not using your money, you know, the way you should be, or you don't have $5 a day to get started. Like, you need this, right? That's what we want to say, but we want to use things like the feel, felt, found method. So here's where I want to maybe role play. If anyone wants to offer to give me an example of how you would role play. I just don't want to share until I know that these are going to work for me. That's like one very common one, but we can give some examples. But does anyone want to take a shot at maybe how you could overcome that, or just kind of go one step further to see if you can help? I love it, Andrea. Go through that. I know I don't want to call on someone that's not ready. No one's going to get penalized, but I have found that I have learned a lot of like trainings on objections, but I didn't feel comfortable until I was practicing them and actually utilizing it and implementing it, and, you know, doing the tips that were told to me. And the feel, felt, found, I probably use every single day. So I can start with an example, or someone can hop in. Patty.
I'll pop in.
Yeah,
I'm losing
girl.
my voice, so sorry. Maybe utilizing the idea that, you know, you never know who's out there that's going through something that you're going through, and just kind of getting, putting yourself out there. You could help so many people that are holding back or afraid to talk about it. And they just, so you just never really know who you could help, even at this point in your journey. And it would be even more beneficial to have someone alongside you to do the journey with, you know, and use it some way like that. I don't know.
No, those are definitely really good points. I love that. One of the things that I always say is, you know, ending with a question when we ask, or when we come back with something, like using the feel, felt, found method. So if you're like on here, like, what the heck is that? So Patty, I know exactly how you feel. When I got started, I actually felt the same way. And I waited about 3 months to get started with a friend. But what I found is that she was struggling with something completely different than what I was. And so she needed the products. If only I shared sooner, she needed the products not when they worked for me. So if you just were to share your excitement, that could actually help someone completely, you know, get started. And your excitement is what would help them get started. Like, would you be up for doing that? So you're simplifying it. You are going to help them, right? We're always, I'm sure that you guys are always teaching them and telling them, but sometimes I feel like when it comes to a shout out, or when it comes to asking them, we like get all flustered because we don't practice it enough. And then we like word vomit and we say we're going to like make money. And then they're like, no way. So again, just like you said, your excitement or your journey starts on day one when you say yes, and that can absolutely help someone. So I just have learned that people that get started with one friend, I've just found that they stick with it longer, and it's a lot more fun. You know, would you be up for seeing if anyone was curious to do this with you? And so I don't have these written down, but you can listen to it as much as you want. but just talk out loud. Like if it doesn't sound like something you would say, you're going to sound like a robot. So you want to say it in a way that sounds natural to you, comfortable to you. It's coming off sincerely. A lot of times I might ask for a shout out for a friend in a message and they'll say yes. And so then, it just depends. Like it's a lot easier, I feel like, perceived or to go through an objection with a voice message instead of trying to text them, because text can sometimes sound ingenuine. So again, if you guys aren't voice messaging, try to get more comfortable with it or just send them here and there because that's what's going to make you comfortable with them. But, using the feel, felt, found, practice it. I know exactly how you feel, Sally. I felt the same way, blah, 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 blah. When I was getting ready for my wedding, I didn't have extra money and I was nervous about the investment. But what I found is that it's about $5 a day. And when I broke it down, I was actually spending that on eating out. Like, could I show you a simple way that we could lessen the stressor of that financial, burden or worry? And again, you're asking them to share, but you're also teaching them like, hey, there's a way around it. If the $100 is going to freak you out, like I got you, right? But if I'm not confident that I can help that person, then they're going to just say, no, I don't have money. And then they're going to not join. Right. So, what's another way we could overcome like the money aspect? I'm sure that's a lot of the objections that you guys might be getting around the holidays, January. Oh, there's no way I can afford that. Do we just say, okay? That's okay if you do, but we're not going to do that anymore.
I always say I completely understand because I was in the same boat. Like we literally were living less than paycheck to paycheck because there was no extra. And so I actually put it on a credit card and hid it from my husband. And when I fell in love with it, within like 2 weeks, I started to love my pink drink, not drink so much energy drinks, and like people started noticing. And so I started to share. And when I started to share, I made enough money within my first month to cover my products for at least 2 or 3 months. And so like I'm just honest with them.
Thanks, Bree. And then that's true. It's like, we don't want to sign someone up if they're already telling us, I don't want to sub on, I don't have money for next month. But we want to also be that vision for them that says, hey, I totally get it. Like, I want you to start when it's convenient for you, when you're comfortable with your decision. But I also want to tell you that if you just got started, again, with 1 to 3 people, that would be your accountability circle. I'm not asking you to work the business, but it's just a way to help you stay on track. And it also would allow you to not have to worry about that financial monthly cost, but you could still take these. And I know it's going to help you so much. Like, again, I just kind of rambled, sorry, but be relatable, meet them where they're at, help them feel understood, right? You're not just going to say, oh, well, we can just downscale to what I know you need more of, but I'm going to sell you on the pink drink, right? We don't want to do that. We want to get them started confidently on what they need. And again, if money is an obstacle, you're going to offer that opportunity, girls, because that is what they need. And you have to do it in a way that is comfortable for you. So is someone on here that's willing to be like, I don't even ever respond, push back. I just let them, come to me when they're ready. Does anyone feel that way right now? Like they just lock up when they get an objection? Or is there any objections that you guys feel like that we haven't talked about yet that you don't like want to kind of work through together?
I just had somebody come to me stating that they were overwhelmed with the amount of products that they were taking and that they're going through some bloating and a variety of different concerns. So we kind of refocused and just said, why don't we just focus on inflammation right now? So we'll do Slim Active Ease, and we took ProBio 5 and BioCleanse just out of the equation for now. And it seemed to calm this person down some. She's still taking the product. She's still trusting. us as, you know, as Plexus. And I just think that was a way to keep her happy, but also where she's going to still see some results and keep her going.
Absolutely. And I think that's so true. Like sometimes, Andrew, you can take that over in a second. Sometimes I feel like we get a message that says, I think I'm going to stop. I'm bloated, or this isn't sitting well with my stomach. And they're on like, you know, week 2, and we get like, oh God, you know, we get all emotional and we take it personal and we feel discouraged because we just signed them up and they're not even going to make it a month. We cannot get emotional. We cannot take it personal. We want to take the emotion out of it, but we want to say, okay, so what can I do to make this situation better, right? What can I do to help, you know, adjust? Like Patty said, let's downscale. Are you overwhelmed? Are you staying consistent? Do you know what to do? Sorry, I just got distracted a second by the chat. Do you know what to do in those situations? So moving on, you know, we're adjusting products. That's good. She's still on it. She's open. She's in communication. We always want to be verbal about those so that can help us to prevent, you know, negative things like people turning off their subscription, or, you know, I want to go through, what do we say when someone is on our perks report? Like, how are we addressing that? So if someone comes to you and says, or again, a lot of times people don't even come to you. We can get emotional. We can say, oh my God, why didn't they come to us? Like last week they were doing great and they were, you know, they told me that they loved it. And now all of a sudden they turned their order off and they didn't tell me. Like, what the heck? What did I do wrong? Right? I didn't do anything wrong. But what do we kind of say to them? Or what's a way you could reach out to them instead of just saying like, yo, girl, you turned your sub off, which is what we want to say, right? But how can we navigate through that in a strong customer service way to get some information back? Cindy, how would you approach that? Sorry. You just look so comfy in your chair over there.
Yeah. I mean, I do my perks every day. So, and yes, trust me, there are people that are on there that have not, you know, contacted me. So I normally do send them a message. Well, I mean, I don't normally, I do. I send them a message.
No worries. Would you happen to would you be able to say like verbiage of maybe kind of what you say to them?
Sure.
Okay.
I generally just make sure they're aware of what the perks are.
Mm-hmm.
It's saved in my notes. It's just way easier. And then I just kind of copy and paste.
Yeah. Put it in the chat if you don't care.
I don't know how to do that. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Because it's on my phone and I'm watching on my iPad.
Oh, gotcha. You're not logged in on your phone. Now I get it.
Sorry.
No worries.
Maybe, Angel, we found something you don't know how to do.
Well, I do know how to do it from here to here, and I know how to do it from there to there, but I don't know how to do it from there to there without connecting my iCloud. I don't have that. Because
When she looks at that, did
We're
you
just gonna
find
say,
it?
okay, girl, like you're fine. We'll just push it out 2 months and we'll be in touch, right? We don't want to have push outs upon push outs, or we don't want to turn their sub off the second that like 2 weeks into their order because of X, Y, and Z reason. So Brianna is asking, I'm sure she'll pop in here because we love her feedback, but you know, they want to stop their subscription. So are we going to take that as an, okay, like, bye. It was nice knowing you, right? Or we're going to ask those clarifying questions. Okay, so like, what makes you nervous about the subscription? Or what's your regimen right now? I just want to make sure that you're on track, because the subscription is not to freak you out. It's just to set you up for success on your products. And you actually earn free product every other month when you are consistent with your subscription. So let's talk a little bit about that. Oh, perfect. I think I might have corrected that message, but that looks good. So instead of, hey, did you know that you're losing credit because you turned off your order? Those are things that I'm sure we've all maybe thought about sending or have had new people send. We're probably not going to get a message with that or a response with that, but the one that Jody dropped is great because it's like, hey, I'm just looking over some things and I noticed that you've earned $55 that you're going to maybe lose. Like, are you familiar with how that works? You're just educating them. No, I don't know. Or no, I'm stopping my products. I have surplus. that's a way for us to overcome that and teach them, oh, you know what, we could just turn it back on so you can save those credits and we can just extend the date out a little bit. Can I give you a hand with that? Right? We want to kind of be in control if we can of the situation. We're going to end with a question so it keeps the conversation going. Brandon, do you have anything else to add? Like how you would kind of help that perks for subscription?
No, I pretty much use the same message that Jody uses. It's tweaked a little bit, but I always just reach out and I'm just like straightforward and open with them. Like I don't try and do anything else. It's just, hey, it's me. Like I was checking reports this morning and noticed that your subscription is off. You have 550 perk credits. That's $55 in free product that I definitely don't want you to miss out on using. You've earned those and I want to help you like save them. Are you familiar with the perk credit or the perk reward system or whatever, however you want to say it? And then I'll let them respond. And majority of the time when you send it like that and you just ask simply if they're familiar with the system, they'll respond and they'll tell you what's going on. And it's usually either A, they'll tell you the products aren't working, B, they're not consistent, or C, it's too much money. Like those are the three things that I hear consistently. And so I just tell my team to ask good questions. Like if they're not consistent, then you need to ask what products they have and you need to ask them how they're using them and help them be consistent every single day. And then that person needs to go back on your follow-up list. That way you can check in with that person every 2 or 3 days to make sure that they're using their supplements consistently. If they tell me it's money, I automatically will tell them about the referral money that they can earn and ask if they would like to make a post. That's always my option there. And then if they are just wanting to push out because they have too much or they don't have, or they're not seeing results, again, I'm asking what supplements they're using, how many are they taking? Are they taking them every day? Like, I want to know, are they being consistent? Just point blank, are you taking them every day? And I want to know how many you're taking of each. That way you can actually like break it down.
Mm-hmm.
Who feels that really that's all I do.
Drop a 1 in the comments if you feel comfortable or like confident in your ability to like ask those good questions. What do you guys, and 1 if you feel confident, 2 if you're like, I kind of know what I'm doing, 3 if you just don't feel comfortable at all and you breeze through your check-ins. Like the honesty, girl. I'm going to call on a couple that say that they don't feel comfortable whatsoever, because you girls, I'm sure, are doing amazing. Is there anything that is like making you feel like you don't know what you're doing? Like you don't have the guidance, you have people on too many different things that you can't remember. Do you feel unorganized? Is there anything, you don't have to talk if you don't want to, but drop it in the chat.
All right. So I'm going to call on somebody. I'm just going to hijack for a second.
Okay.
All right. So I'm just going to scroll back. So Andy, I see a 2. Why do you say that?
I feel like I don't have any trouble reaching out about perks because I feel like I have a whole lot of experience. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Probably a bad thing, but I don't have any trouble reaching out on perks, but I have more issues, I guess, with the objections after that. Okay, so today, someone's on perks today. And she just told me, she was honest, her husband took a pay cut, half of their salary for the whole year. He has to take the cut for the year. So, I knew what to do. I talked about the referral program and she's like, no, I can't think of anybody. I need to turn it off. So, I told her how to turn it off. But I guess now I need to just ask her if she would make a post just to see, if maybe she could get some people on there. So I don't know. I just feel like I have trouble getting them off of perks and back on to a subscription.
told you like, no, I don't know anyone, like you didn't, and I'm not saying that you did it wrong. I'm just saying like, so you just kind of like left the conversation there, right?
Right. I mean, I told her how to do it. I mean, she's like asking me, I need to do this. How do I do it? And then I mentioned it twice and she said, no, I just need to cancel it. So then I showed her how to do it, but I'm like, maybe I should have pushed more on the referral program. I don't know her that well. She's one of my level one's mom. But I still should have just said, well, why don't you make a post? Because she can't make her own post. She has to have her daughter do it. So maybe that's another reason why I wasn't so pushy. But I mean, I can go back to her and ask her again. Maybe she could do that.
Yeah, I think that's a great like step. Like if they tell you they don't know 3 people off the top of their heads, like, okay, let's put something in your stories and let's make a post and let's see what kind of list that we can create. I think that's good.
Right.
I feel like
Right.
too, if you know they're loving their products, but they can't continue for money or whatever it is, I make sure that I kind of put that in their head. Like, I know you're loving your products. I know you're noticing X, Y, and Z. Like, I really want to help you to be able to keep continuing to take your products. Like, are you open to like me helping you do that? I usually like say something about that just because they are kind of like, you're right. Like, I am feeling really good. I don't want to completely stop my products. So that's something else that I kind of like throw out too. Did you have anything else, Brianna? I was just going to go over something else. Okay. So something else I was thinking when Allie was talking in the beginning about the money objection, let's be real, that's pretty much what we get all the time. So something that I was thinking is, how many times do you have someone say, well, I just want to start with the pink drink, or I just want to start with the probiotic? It happens all the time. And 9 times out of 10, it's because of money, because they can't afford it. So if you have gone over X, Y, and Z as far as their referral program, like trying to help them, like helping them see the value of the products, or that they can cut out hopefully somewhere $5 a day. You know, if you've gone over all of those things and they still are like, well, I just want to try this, then I mean, if we truly think that they're going to benefit from it, whatever reason, then okay. But I am usually honest with them and just say, like, it is a simple system that they work well in combination to each other. And I know that you're struggling with X, Y, and Z. And yes, the probiotic is amazing. But I believe that in order for you to truly see the full benefits, it would be best if you started this combo, whatever it was. So how about we just maybe readdress it in a month or 2 and see if maybe that's a better time for you to start? Like, does that sound okay? I feel like they appreciate that more than us just being like, okay, because I don't think it really will seem like a quick sale to them, but we do want them to see benefits, because if they are struggling with several different things and we just get them started on one product and they don't really see much of a change, then they're probably not going to continue, or they're not going to end up adding in other products. So just being, like I said, being open and honest and upfront with them about what you truly think that they should start on, like, I think that makes a big difference too, because that is an objection that I've seen a lot over the years as well. What if I just start with this? So that, and then something else I just kind of wanted to go over, which Addie made me think of it when she was talking about perks, is how I address credit card declines. I know in the beginning for me, it was uncomfortable because, again, you guys know I've always had this weird thing about money. And I'm like, I don't want people to think that I think that their card got declined because they don't have money, or, you know, whatever it is. And just I kind of always sometimes will blame it on the system. Like, I noticed that your card didn't process. I want to make sure that you do get your products. I don't know if you get, I don't know if you got an email. Usually it's just that someone got a new card and they just forget to update that. Did you want me to look into that for you, or did you want me to help you with that? Like I said, I always kind of bring it back to, it's usually that someone got a new card, or just wanted to make sure that it wasn't a glitch and that you did not get your products. I want you to, can be able to continue them, whatever, which I honestly didn't know that they got an email on their card didn't process until the other day when I reached out to someone about it. I was like, I said that same thing. I was like, I don't think you get a notification. Just want to make sure that you're aware. And she was like, actually, I got an email this morning. I had no idea that they sent those, which is nice. But for some reason, they might not get that email. Addie, I didn't either. I saw Patty shake her head. So I'm like, I don't know if that's something that's new or if someone's just never said it to me. But obviously they do get an email, which is nice. But that's kind of how I kind of go off of that too, because I feel like that's something that I've seen my girls just over time kind of be like, how do I address this? Like, I don't want to like feel uncomfortable or anything like that. So, I just wanted to
I
add
can
that.
tell you what, like I say, if you want, that way they have like different like things. I just tell them like, I always just say like, hey, I was just sitting down checking reports and noticed that your order wasn't able to be processed today due to a credit card issue. It's usually a simple fix, like a expired credit card or whatever it may be. Can I help you fix that today? Like, and it's just like short and sweet. Like, I see you got it declined. Let me help you fix it. Like, it's very, and sometimes I'll even just like say, like, I don't want you to go without your supplements. Can I help you get that fixed today? My messages are very like blunt and just to the point, but that's just my personality. There's really no conversation. I just message and call it as I see it and go and go about.
I was going to say
Yes, I was
something
just-
real fast.
Oh, go ahead.
When the friends only want the slim to start with, because that's mainly what everybody is posting on social media is the pink drink, and that's what everybody's interested in. So I just come back with, that's fine, but if you're struggling with whatever, you're not going to see results there. You might feel better, maybe go to the bathroom better and stuff, but I always throw in, you're going to pay the same price pretty much for just the slim or the 3 products. You're pretty much getting 2 products for free, and we now have the build your own, so you get exactly what you're needing. So the whole build your own pack is like great. So I've had the person that I just signed, that's how I got them. They only wanted the pink drink, and I'm like, okay, but you're going to pay more for that than getting 3 products. So it worked.
I think that's a great point because I always bring that up too. I'm like, you're paying $74 for slim and you're paying $79 for a welcome back right now. Like, that's crazy.
And you're going to see like a million more differences in your body.
I always tell them too that our products are designed to work together. So just, so you'll see better, like you said, Heather, like you'll see better results if you do, 3 or whatever, but because a lot of people just want the probiotic and this, that, and I always say, well, that's fine, but they are designed to work together and you're going to see better results if you do, the combos or
100%.
Well, let me just pop in here real quick. So I know now that we can't, with the VIP customers, we can't see their order history, but I know that they are working on that because that is a huge advantage when we can go back and see what they ordered. But to all the older people who joined before, October of 2021, you can go back and see. And so what I like to do too is like, if I know someone is completely like canceled or they have their perks off, like once I send the pretty much same message, like, hey, this is Andrea, blah, 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 blah. Are you familiar with perks? Then they'll say yes or no. And then I always make sure to go, and I know I've told you guys this before, but it really just helps to kind of like get that conversation started and just say like, hey, I know you started with the triplex, is gut health and sugar cravings still like a health goal of yours? Because a lot of the times they might get started with the pack because how some people are, they're like, no, I want the wellness bundle. And you're like, but you really don't need the wellness bundle, but they're like dead set on getting it. And you're like, but you have, you want the X, Y, and Z, but then like 30 days later, they're like, this isn't working. And so I always just make sure to go back if I can, if they're like an older customer, and just say like, is this still a goal of yours? And that also opens up the conversation, and they're like, yes, no. And if they say, yes, it is, and they're turning their subscription off, I'm not just going to be like, oh, okay. Then I'll ask, do you have too much product? do you need me to help you get a routine down? Like, you guys, I am like asking these questions, like digging until they're like, literally just like, I just can't afford it. Or like, and then if they say I can't afford it, then I ask them, hey, like if it's my level 1, obviously I've told them about the referral bonus and what they can make. And then I'll remind them about it. But if it's like a level 2 or 3, I'm going to ask, hey, are you familiar with our referral bonus? Can I share that with you? So I'm always, until I literally cannot open another door, I am going to try to get them to talk. And you're not being nosy. You're not being like, you have to think that you are the professional. Like, they came to you because it is like when you go into like, when I go into like a really nice, like when we were in New York, we went into like the super nice department stores, and those people were so confident with helping me get the right shoe, getting this, getting that. Like, they knew what they were doing. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, this is why I'm here. I'm here for you to help me. You're the expert, whatever. And so that is why they signed up with you. You are not just like little old you just hanging out, slinging a pink drink every once in a while. You have to be confident and say, okay, like this is my like profession. Like, I am here to help you, to serve you, to figure out, why you stopped your products. Because a lot of the times, guess what? I reach out, and like one of the top objections is, I just have too much product right now. And I'm like, why do you have too much product? Like, that is a sign that maybe they're not getting checked in with enough, or you guys aren't, using those questions good enough to ask them, hey, in the beginning, hey, how much product are you taking? What are you taking of each? Are you taking it every morning? Don't just ask, hey, how are you doing? Are you getting on a good routine? Like, ask more specific products. A routine could be, they're taking 1 ProBio 5, drinking Slim every other day. That could be a good routine for them, right? But if you say like, hey, I sent you how to take it. Are you sticking to with what I sent you? And then I reiterate, Slim in the morning, 2 BioCleanse, whatever, 3 ProBio 5. I'm asking them that, because if they're not, then I want to know, right? And so it's literally just slowing down and taking time. And I promise you guys, like, I would much rather keep the people that you have worked so hard to bring in than let those people slip, because it's so much easier just to be like, well, she just doesn't like it. I'll just go get someone new. But it's like, that's the bathtub business. We don't want a constant drain, because you know what that does to your points. It's a roller coaster, and I don't want a roller coaster business. And I know you guys don't either. And so it's really, and if you're sitting there and you're like, I'm just not a good question asker, I don't know. You guys, you have uplines that are really good question askers. Why are you not going and asking them how to do the things? You're never going to learn unless you ask. And that's not a sign of weakness. That is a sign that you want to learn and grow. Asking questions shows us that you guys are here to learn and grow and be better. And so I want you guys to really, and we repeat this all the time, I feel like a broken record, but ask the questions. Be normal. Ask them like you're talking to your best friend. Like, if I was talking to Brianna and she was like, girl, I'm just not consistent, I would be like, okay, tell me why you're not consistent. What is it? Are you just forgetting to take them? Is it because, you don't have them out and about, like around your counter? Like, what is it? Talk to me about it. Like, that's how I talk to people. I don't try to be like some like guru, like Heather said. Like, I'm literally just like, talk to me, girl. Like, do you need me to help you get on a good routine? Like, I'm happy to help you do that. Even if I'm talking to a level 4 or 5, I'm like, do you need me? Like, I will connect them with the sponsor and say, hey, like, I'm going to go to their sponsor. Say it's Brianna. I'm talking to one of Brianna's level 1s. And I'm like, because we do that, right? Like, Brianna's like, well, shoot, she never messaged. She didn't respond back to me. I'm glad you got her, like, whatever. And so it's like, if I'm asking that, like, I'm going to go to Brianna and be like, hey, have you talked to Sally? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to reconnect us all in a 3-way, and we're going to help Sally. Right. Like, these are the things you have to do also for your team, right? Like, you can't just say, well, she's a level 1's level 2, and I don't really know her. But that means you've got to send connection messages. I send new welcome messages out to like levels 1 through 4, just because I want that support system And I want them to know, like, because if one of y'all drop off, like, I want them to know, hey, I've got Andrea, at least I've got Andrea, or if one of your level 1s or 2s drop off, that is that support for them, right? Like, that is what this community is all about. It's not someone coming in and taking over your business or anything like that. That is literally just having that extra layer of support. And for some odd reason, sometimes people open up to strangers better than they do the person that signed them up. Like, it's weird. I don't know why, but it's just a thing sometimes. But I just want you guys to like get better with the objections of people turning their subscriptions off. And also too, here's another thing. If they are like, absolutely not, I have to turn off, I don't, and you've been through all the things, right? Like, you've told them about the referral program. You told them how, like, you know, being consistent is important and all that. I never just let them turn off and lose all of those perk credits. I say, listen, you can push your subscription out until X amount. You can still keep those perk credits. And then why don't we revisit this in March, right? Because it's going to be a lot easier for them to come back on when they've got 600 perk credits to cash in on that next subscription, right? I would much rather, because they're going to turn off regardless. They're not going to order that month regardless. And so I would much rather them keep their subscription on and order when they come back, rather than lose all of those. Because sometimes those people get ticked, right? They're like, I had a girl that I messaged the other day and she's like, well, I tried to redeem them, but I couldn't redeem them. And I said, well, you have to have a subscription on to redeem them. And she's like, well, I want to turn off. And so I told her, I was like, why don't you just push your subscription out until a certain amount of time, and then let's revisit your health goals, right? When things are better. She's like, okay, great. And so it's like, you don't want to tick people off, right? Like, that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to be like bullies and say, well, you got to order because whatever. You want to make people at least have an option, because it's going to be a lot easier when they want to come back on. And that's a great way that you can message them as well. It's saying, hey, Cindy, I know we spoke in January and things were, just the timing wasn't right and you needed to push your subscription out. I just wanted to remind you that you do still have those 600 perk credits. How are things now? Would you like to talk about health goals? I think that's a really great way to get back in with them and kind of talk through those things. So it's just, not taking that first answer and being okay with it. And that's not being pushy. That's truly fighting for their health goals. That's truly fighting for why they started, especially when I see the people who start and they're turned off in 30 days. I'm like, okay, wait, right? Like, either they weren't supposed to be signed up in the beginning. They said they couldn't afford it and someone signed them up, or they weren't followed up with correctly, or who knows, right? Like, those are the things that we have to go through. And so as a team, our 60-day retention, like, we're good 30 days, we hit 60 days and it's like people just crash and burn on 60 days. And so that's where I want you to look at. It's on both of my legs. So that's where I want you guys to look at. What are you doing after the first 30 days? You're following up like a mad woman that first month, but what happens in the second month, right? If you are not following, if you're not at least sending a message, I always try to follow up twice in 60 day on the 60-day mark. Get project broadcast, you guys. Invest in your business. Get project broadcast. Schedule those jokers out. Schedule them out. I have mine scheduled out to where I have a 90-day drip system to where all of my messages go out. I don't have to touch it. Like, all I'm doing is getting in there and responding. Okay. Like, and it works. Here's another thing. I also have a 90-day retention thing where you don't have to do this, but when they first start, I'm sending them a handwritten note. So excited for you to get started, blah, 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 blah. When they complete day 30, like their first month, they have their subscription on, whatever. I get on Amazon and I send them like a $10 water bottle with a note. Yay, your first 30 days. Like, you did so great, blah, 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 like whatever. When they finish their 60 days, I send them like a little pill organizer. Again, it's like $5 or $6. So excited. I don't know if you could use this traveling. It doesn't matter. It's literally like the thought that counts. And yes, I know like perk credits is there for that, but also too, like, I think just having that you don't have to do that, but that is something that I've seen. Or you can just send them a written note again. Like, great job, you guys. We have to treat these people well. These are the people that make your paycheck what they are, right? Your paycheck would not be anything without the people underneath you ordering. Your happy wholesale customers too, right? And what, you know, when they love their products, what are most diamonds? Product lovers. Most diamonds in this company started out as product lovers. And when you get someone to truly love their products, it's really easy to share. Maybe they don't want to share in the beginning. That doesn't mean they're not going to share a month, 2 months down the road. And if you take really good care of them, they're going to be around forever. You know, just doing the little things, not having emotion attached to it, you know, not getting frustrated if someone wants to push out. Like, you have to meet them where they are and you have to understand, right? Like, we've all been there. So anyways, saying that, just ask the good questions, get creative of ways that you can let your, you know, your wholesale people know that you appreciate them. It doesn't have to be money spent. It can be a handwritten card. It could be day 90 and you say, oh my gosh, you completed 3 months. Like, that's so exciting. Like, way to go. Send them something, right? Like, just the little things really do go far. You could even pick up the phone and say, hey girl, just wanted to call you and just congratulate you on like day 90. Like, that's so awesome. Or day 60, like, you did it, girl, whatever. So anyways, I hope this was helpful. Thank you, Heather and Allie. Oh, go ahead, Lisa. Yes.
I was just going to say, last week I made a video and it just simply said, like, I'm Lisa, I want to welcome you. And I just want to give you some tips on how to be successful, drink your water. And I was like, communication is key. If you joined us to use the restroom and you're not, and you say you're doing great, like simple things like that. And it's like went over like great, like everybody's loving it. And then they see me, it's not just a text, you know, stuff like that. So I'm glad I did that.
I freaking love that. Let me tell you something that I learned at this mastermind of the first Align event that I went to with Brooke Hemingway. She had Randy Garn. You guys can look him up on IG. He literally is a billionaire that helps people, CEOs, be better at customer service. Like, that is what he does. And he makes a killing at it. And he says that he's like, it's all about the personal touches. It's all about and it's not about money, but it's all about the personal touches, just like what you did. He said, like, all of his clientele, he's like, I always send them a video of my face on their birthday. And I'm like, happy birthday, Addie. Like, you know, something. And he's
Cindy
like,
does that. Have you all seen Cindy's happy birthday message?
She sent me one.
It's so memorable, right? Like, and you're like, it makes your freaking day. It's like, it really does. It's something different, because in this world of now, like, I mean, we're like robots that don't even like hang out or anything. It's like that connection that you can get from just a simple face showing up on your, like, okay, I met a girl in California and then we became really good friends, long story short. Every year for Christmas, she sends me a video and says, Merry Christmas. Like, you know, hope you're doing well. And it's just so cool. I'm like, that's so great that she like literally thinks to take time to send me a 30-second video that's like, Merry Christmas, I hope you guys are doing well. I don't know. I just think it's cool. I think it's different. And I think it really says a lot about your character too. Okay. Amen. Thank you guys so much. Seriously, this was awesome. I loved it, Allie and Heather, and just everyone opening up and talking. It was so great because I feel like we learned so much just from other people spitting out their advice and stuff like that. So I really appreciate it. And you guys, honestly, January is not even halfway over. Like, we have so much time to make things happen. And I know I always end this call like this, but I want you to think about where you were last year. Just like Heather said, her December was crap. And when we got on our coaching call, and I was like, okay, let me tell you, like, if you need tough love, ask for it. Ask for that constructive criticism. It might sting, but my gosh, doesn't it wake you up, right? And it's like, where you were in December doesn't have to be where you are in January. like be intentional and make 2022 like your year of change. Like that is for me what this year is all about. It is about discipline, and I am being so disciplined, like for starting out with my morning routine and getting rid of all the stories that I'm not this and I'm not that, I'm not this and I'm not that, because it feels so good when you crush those like red light stories that you put in your head and you actually do those things. You don't have to go full force gung ho New Year's resolution all in January, but make it bite sized, make it things that you know that you can accomplish. And it makes you feel so good having that reflection. And I will tell you, I don't have it up there, but the 5-minute journal has, I committed, like, it like makes you commit. It's like, you have to write in this 5 days in a row. And today is my 5th morning, and then I do it at night. It literally doesn't even take me 5 minutes, but it's been so nice to pause for like 3 minutes and write down what I'm thankful for, have a reflection of my day, and then go on. But it's like so nice to have that just little itty bitty, like, I don't know, just reflection of each morning and each night. And so if you're needing something quick that you want to practice gratitude, I would definitely encourage you guys to get that, because it really does take only 5 minutes, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. And it's just been such a good little recap for me. So that's just one little way that I am getting more disciplined. So I love you guys. Let's crush January. Let's make this like retention January. Let's just go back through, try to save all the people, because I know December was a hard month. And so go revisit those people that said, yeah, not right now, right? Sell them a challenge box. Sell them a challenge box. If we get enough people selling a challenge box, I'm happy to run a 3-day challenge at the end of this month. You guys you let me know. And like I said, I'm happy to do the 3-day challenge. I mean, I sold a challenge box yesterday, and I just feel like that if you missed the 21-day glow up, grab a challenge box. Like let's learn together. So just think outside the box. And you guys, I know I cannot wait to see what we all do by March, which is our 90-day mark. So we still have a lot of time to accomplish those goals. Bye, y'all.